Hey there, I'm an animated Connor Walsh, which is kind of ironic because people say I'm pretty animated in real life. Anyway, welcome to Walsh Wednesday, my new/old podcast. Let me explain. Back in high school in 2013, I was pressured by some friends to do an impromptu solo acoustic performance in my cafeteria. Believe it or not, people really took to it. And it turned into a monthly musical series I did through the rest of high school. Who said High School Musical wasn't realistic? By college, I turned Walsh Wednesday into a web series, focusing on interviews surrounding community events, charities, and local entertainment in the Hudson Valley and capital regions of New York. Walsh Wednesday spawned several spin-offs such as the Walsh Wednesday Concert Series, Walsh Wednesday Spotlights, and Walsh Wednesday The Reflective Series before its hiatus in 2021. After that, I spent the last 3 years working in radio, honing my craft, conducting unbelievable interviews, traveling to fascinating places, attending mind-blowing events, and meeting some of my personal heroes. Now, with the help of some awesome people I've met along the way, I'm bringing Walsh Wednesday back bigger and better than ever. Let's stay curious, keep an open mind, and as always, I'm glad we get to spend some time. Welcome to Walsh Wednesday. On this week's episode, we speak with Anquinette Hayles from Greystone Programs, in to talk about the 9th annual Leap for Autism. After that, we speak with Rockabilly Hall of Famer and Americana pioneer, Marty Wendell. Thank you to our Walsh Wednesday All-Stars, all of those who have generously contributed to the Walsh Wednesday 2025 Fund Drive. You can see the list of names on screen or in the description of this episode. And of course, thank you to our Walsh Wednesday Warriors, Jim Robinson, John Newhall, Meg Boyce, and Jenna Hess. These individuals have pledged $100 or more to Walsh Wednesday for 2025, either through the GoFundMe or our Patreon. Typically, this would be the part of the intro where I would say, on with the show. But I have something really important to share. It's time for the Walsh Wednesday Fund Drive. By becoming a donor, you're investing in grassroots community outreach, arts and entertainment, up-and-coming creators, local businesses, regional and national charities, plus important causes. To help elevate Walsh Wednesday, I kindly encourage you to become a donor on our GoFundMe page. To donate, please visit gofundme.com/f/Walsh Wednesday. Our goal is to raise $10,000. It's hefty, I know, but I have a lot of faith in this, and I hope you do too. Not to mention, if you have a business or organization that wants to advertise through Walsh Wednesday and you want to sponsor a number of episodes, you can contact Connor at cmjwentertainment.com and write Walsh Wednesday Fund Drive in the subject of the email, and I'd be happy to work with you. Thank you to everybody who has helped elevate Walsh Wednesday this year, and thank you for your donation. Okay, now with all that being said, on with the show. This episode of Walsh Wednesday is brought to you by Impact PR and Communications, the Council on Addiction Prevention and Education of Dutchess County Incorporated, Dayrock, and Walsh Valuation. Hey there, and welcome back to Walsh Wednesday. As always, I'm Connor Walsh, and we got a great episode lined up for you guys. And let me tell you, the sky is far from the limit on this episode. We're going to be speaking about this incredible event that's been going on in the Hudson Valley, specifically in Gardiner. It is called Leap for Autism. It's hosted by Greystone Programs. Such a cool event. I had the honor of going to it 2 years ago and just watching everybody jump out of the planes. Insane. And with us, we have somebody who is a part of the event, and actually, it's going to be her first time jumping this year. Yes. So with us, we have Chief Advancement Officer with Greystone Programs INC, Anquinette Hayles. Anquinette, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here. So thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Obviously, we've been working together for a couple of years now when I was over at the radio station. And forgive me if I'm mistaken. Is this the first time we're actually meeting in person?
This is the first time we are meeting in person. Yes.
I was going to say, because we're always just emailing each other.
Yes,
so it's like,
yes.
I'm thinking ahead of time. I was like, have we ever met?
No.
But yeah,
this is the first time.
It's a pleasure to have you in person and everything.
And I'm excited. And I just want to say congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you.
I think you're doing a great job. We love your show, and we love that now you're a podcast too.
Right.
You're so cool. But yeah, sincere congratulations, because I know it takes a lot to start up, and clearly you are the perfect man for the job.
I'm trying, that's for sure. But we're fortunately a lot of support from above, not just God, but also parents upstairs.
Yes.
But
awesome.
No, we're extremely excited about this event for Leap for Autism. But for anybody who hasn't listened to any of the previous interviews I did at the radio station,
and who are not familiar with Greystone, could you just give like a brief overview on what Greystone Programs is all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So Greystone Programs is a nonprofit. We are in the human services industry. We provide services for individuals, children, and families who have autism and other developmental disabilities. We also provide homes. So we have 18 homes and counting. And I love to say and counting. Last year it was 17, and we just recently opened up a new home. And we're excited about that because it's ever growing and there is a need. And we're so glad that we're able to like step in the gap and provide these services. And we offer a number of different day habilitation services and opportunities for individuals to come just for the day and receive programming and therapies. And it really gives families an opportunity to have a small break or to just have some extra hands. So if they're not coming to us, we also have a mentorship program that's really growing, and we're trying our best to expand rapidly into Orange County and Ulster County, which we service both of those counties along with Dutchess. But it's a really great opportunity to have someone come into the home and also assist in services, or maybe take an individual out into the community and have them connect, or just do something fun and kind of give parents a little bit of a break or a couple of moments to themselves to just really kind of regroup and know that they're family member or their loved one is in really good hands. So, number of different things that we offer. And of course, we are responsible for the Leap for Autism.
And we love it. Of course, such a fun event. I was just blown away by the whole experience 2 years ago. That would have been 2023. First of all, it was a phenomenal day. So it was like good weather, everything.
Oh my gosh.
But besides that, you had the way that the community came together. You had a number of vendors there. You had a number of people in the program as vendors, which is cool. People who are through Greystone showing off their own businesses.
I know.
And that's so cool. And that's heartwarming as well. There was great music.
Yes.
Everybody was just having so much fun. It felt like a backyard barbecue plus people falling out of the sky.
Exactly. And we'd like to say soar, just so that we don't scare anyone. You soar from the sky.
What was the line from Toy Story, falling with style? That's another good one.
There you go.
So good. But yeah, let's talk about this event. So it's going to be, we have a number of the flyer here, if you can see it on camera. But yes, Leap for Autism, it's going to be at Skydive the Ranch in Gardiner, and 9th annual. That's pretty big too. So can you tell us what people can expect at the event? I know I gave away a number of things already, but I'd love to hear it from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just always love to do this, but a super and special shout out to the leadership team at Greystone, because they came together one day and it was just off a whim. I believe it was Tracy Lynn who kind of led the charge, and she really just wanted, to do something different. And I mean,
what's more different than this?
Skydiving is the way to go.
Yeah.
And every year she raises a ton of money. She has her team, the Blue Diamonds, and she goes above and beyond to just really see this through. And I just think it's amazing, because when I started with Greystone, I said, wait, what? You all are doing what? You're jumping out of planes? And it's like, absolutely, because we ask individuals every day, and I'm just taking a page out of Tracy Lynn's book, we ask individuals every day to defy the odds and to do things and to stretch them beyond what they think that they can do, or maybe they know they can do it. But sometimes it can be uncomfortable. Sometimes, it's uncertainty. There's some uncertainty that happens, and yet they do it. Yeah. And they sometimes do it with the biggest smiles and the most joy. And why not? Why can we not put ourselves in that position for a great cause? And it's a quick 3 minutes.
Yeah, no, from what I saw, it went very quickly.
Quickly.
But it stays with you. That's what I've heard.
It does.
It stays with you.
It does.
But this is going to be your first time jumping. How are you feeling?
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm always nervous, though. I'm the person that is in the front of the roller coasters.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm so nervous, but yet I get in the front of the roller coaster.
Yeah.
And that initial drop, you're like, oh my God, what did I sign up for? And you're kind of like hugging the person in the seat next to you. And I'll be like tugging on my harness, like, what did I sign up for? But again, ultimately, it is for a really, really great cause.
Yeah.
And what better way to just show your support than to do something thrilling?
Yeah.
And most people want to skydive anyway. I know I've thought about it a ton of times. And I just think that, wow, why not do it and do it for a great cause? So
take advantage of it,
take
right?
advantage. You have to.
And now for those out there who are like, I could never do that by myself, these are tandem skydives.
These are tandem skydives. So yes, you are strapped to someone. You are not going down alone. And we also have a virtual component. So if you want to stay on the ground, you can still take the leap.
Oh, so what's that about? Is kind of virtual reality?
Yeah,
you get the headset
you're getting the headset and you're going to actually go through the whole thing where you're skydiving, but obviously virtual reality.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, we got to have something for everyone. And we also have a lot of interest from youth. And of course, they can't go up until they're old enough.
18,
and
right?
So 18.
Yeah.
So this is just a way to really encourage them and to spread the cause. So I'm excited.
Fantastic. So now let's drum up the reason why people are able to do the skydive. This is a fundraiser, and you guys are trying to get X amount of money. I can't remember the exact number it was 2 years ago when I first went to the event, but there is a specific goal that people in teams are supposed to reach in order to get the goal, the reward of skydiving. Is that correct?
Yes. So in order to skydive, you would have to raise at least $500 to do tandem, and you'd have to raise at least $250 to do a virtual leap.
Gotcha. Very cool. So if people want to create a team, or they want to join a team, or they just want to do things individually, how would they be able to set this all up?
So they would go to www.greystoneprograms.org, and there's a huge banner on our homepage. You click on the banner and you hit sign up. And once you sign up, it'll ask if you want to join a team, start a team, or if you just want to be a fundraiser. And so you would select your preference, and then you'll select your t-shirt size. And if you are choosing to skydive, you'll have to read all the waivers and sign off on that. And then that gets the ball rolling. And then your name pops up in that right-hand corner of our fundraising page. And it'll show how much you've raised so far. And then you'll have a specific link designated to your name or your team name. So right now I have a link on the site, and my team is called Show Me the Money. What movie is that from? Let's see.
That is why am I forgetting? I can picture everybody in it. It's Cuba Gooding Jr. It's Tom Cruise, Renee Zellweger, Jerry Maguire?
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, Show Me the Money. Show Me the Money.
Yes.
Yep.
I was trying to, find a creative name, and I think it flashed across the TV screen. I was like, that's it. Show Me the Money.
There we go. Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised that's not on more teams out there somewhere. So, good for you for getting that.
Yeah. So, yeah, after you sign up.
Hey, you had me at skydiving.
Yeah, right. So after you sign up, that's it. You'll have a unique QR code or link to your team, and just share it and encourage friends and family in your network to really support what you're doing if you're interested in skydiving. And if not, it's, a $25, $10 donation, $5 donation. It all goes a long way. Proceeds from this event support Greystone Programs Expressive Arts Therapy, which, believe it or not, it's something that's not covered under the state and federal funding that we receive. And so when you talk about individuals just having an opportunity to live the life that they deserve, you and I, we get up every day, we kind of do what we want. I mean, we have to stick to a schedule, of course, and we have to go to work because we're adults. And all that good stuff. But, in terms of extracurricular activity, we really get to pick and choose what we want to do. And so for our individuals, we want them to have that same opportunity, that same life. We want them to be engaged with music and art and yoga and any type of physical activities. We want them to be engaged in their community. And so when we raise funds, it really gives us the ability to have supplies, to pay additional staff members, and to just have opportunities for all of them, not just those who actually live in our 18 residences, but also those who come to our day habilitation programming. So it really helps a lot of communities because we're in Dutchess, Orange, and Ulster. And not just that, if a family, let's say, lives in Westchester and they want to drive up for services, we can help them.
Wow. No, that is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're able to have that expansive reach does make a difference here.
Yeah, yeah.
So with the Expressive Arts Program, you're talking about bringing in the funds to be able to do everything. How much of what you guys do through the Expressive Arts is in-house, and how much is, say, like going into the community to do things?
It's really like 50-50.
Nice.
Each individual's plan is specialized to them. So it's not a one shoe fits all. It's not like, well, because you're getting 10 hours, I have to get 10 hours of this. It's like, well, maybe you prefer 10 hours of yoga, and I personally want 10 hours of music in my plan or my weekly plan. So sometimes it comes down to that. And we have community members who come in. We have some great music therapists who come to each of the homes set up. I've had the pleasure at our Salt Point home of enjoying some of the music therapy, and our individuals are ready. Like, they come into the living room and they've got their music instruments, they're clapping their hands, and they're like, let's go, and they're singing along, and it's just so refreshing to see.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I don't think I've asked yet, and I just want to clarify for everybody out there, Greystone Programs offers these programs to people of pretty much any age, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So it typically starts, I want to say it's school age. So we do have like after school programming. We do offer schools out programming, school break programming. So absolutely, if someone's interested, definitely start looking at our website, because we do post a lot about our after school and schools out programming early. Because, I'm a mom of twins, and I learned that you have to get on these things like now. Like, there's some people who have their whole summer planned out from January.
Yeah.
And so if you wait till school is actually out, most places are going to be so full or booked, or, you're on a waiting list. So definitely I would say, look at our website, check out what our programming is, and inquire.
Yeah. I used to work for summer camp for like 12 years, I think. And it was typically this time of year, April, that they're sending out all the flyers for everything. And pretty much by May, you have a solid idea of what the numbers are going to look like for the year.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, I don't blame you on that. And one thing that I just really wanted to focus on the fact that this could be any age. There's a lot of programs out there, specifically youth programs. God bless them. They do so many good things. But once you hit a certain age, you're kind of like, hey, what do we do now as an individual, as a family? But this is something that you're able to help individuals and families through every process of life.
Absolutely.
Which is powerful. It's like life goes on after you graduate college or and there's still
high school. It really begins in
yeah.
high school. It's what happens next. And we have, Angela Lehman, she is our director. She's phenomenal. And again, it's that individualized plan. It's working with our individuals to ensure that they have the skill set. They can do internships. They can do actual employment. And it's really what fits. And so they can kind of move around until they find something that works for them. But the great thing is that there's something.
Yeah.
There's something, and there are opportunities for us to grow this programming so that our individuals and our children do have something to do after high school, after college.
Very good. So obviously we were talking about how people can sign up for the teams and how they can get registered for that. If there's an individual or family out there that wants to get involved with Greystone because they're like, wow, this would be perfect for our situation, how should they be able to reach out, and what would they need to bring with them to get started?
So they would just need to reach out. They can call. They could go to our website, greystoneprograms.org. They can fill out the form on our website, the contact form, but just reach out in whichever way they feel comfortable. Sometimes we have folks inbox us on Facebook, on Instagram, and then we get them over to the right department and ensure that they get connected. For most of our services, you do have to already be linked with OPWDD. But the great thing that I've found since I've been with Greystone is that our staff members are so knowledgeable. Like, it doesn't matter where you say you are in the process. If you haven't gotten actual linked to OPWDD yet, they can say, here's what you need, or here's who you can call, and this is how you can potentially speed up the process, or here's the documents you're going to need for this next step. And then once you do that, then we'll be able to link with you. So I mean, again, it's really great. We've had some people, we host a Autism Acceptance Day at the stadium, Renegades.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. And we've had people come up to the table and say, well, we're from, I keep making reference to Westchester, but I think as far as Westchester.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're from Westchester and we're looking for services. And I'm like, wow, yeah, let's get connected. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, thank you for coming up this
Right.
way. That's
baseball. It's, people will travel for baseball.
It's true. And especially the Renegades. Love the Renegades.
Love the
Renegades.
Renegades.
Oh my God. My dad would get tickets. We would, through work, I think we would go like 12 times a summer.
Mhm.
Definitely a big thing for me. And I'm sure plenty of people out there take advantage of all
yeah.
that. That's amazing, because what's great about this is a lot of these programs, whether it is helping people with autism or healthcare or anything like that, so many times, or especially when the government gets involved, you don't know exactly where to go or what are the steps. It's not always very clear cut for everybody. So the fact that you and your team, the program as a whole, is like, hey, we're knowledgeable, we'll hold your hand, we'll guide you through this. So important.
Yeah,
that's so
absolutely.
amazing.
Absolutely. And similar, you mentioned like elected officials. It's the same thing too. Like, they need us to feed. It's almost like feed the machine, feed them with the information, the stats. And this year we've really taken an aggressive approach with really trying to get as many elected officials to sit down and meet with us and to really understand what our needs are. Rates are pretty low for our direct support professionals. And we want to change that. We want to make sure that they live the life that they deserve along with our individuals, and just also advocating for Medicaid. We don't want to see the Medicaid cuts. We do not, want to have to pull back services as a result of folks not fully understanding what it is that we do and what we need. And so, again, we've been meeting with a lot of our elected officials to say, hey, these are the facts, and here's how you can get involved, and here's what you need to say, and here's what you need to do.
Show up to Leap for Autism and see for yourself.
Yes.
Honestly, that would be fantastic. Just get like a whole group of people, leaders in the area, and just see what this is like.
Yes.
I feel like just showing up to this is like, this is crazy. We're in.
Yes.
Like, that would be huge.
You just have to come. You have to see it for yourself. You mentioned earlier about all of our vendors, but we're going to have food trucks. Again, we service so many counties. So every year we try to get vendors from all of the counties to come out. That way, folks can come support people from their community.
Yeah.
We have sweets. We have the grill wagon who does like a pulled pork.
Oh my God, they are so good.
You've had the grill wagon.
I've had them.
We're gonna have like a taco truck and like empanadas. We're going to have Obscure with us again.
Really?
The guys from Obscure Brewery, they are Obscure Oscillation, I should say their full name, brewery. They are great. They're with us every year. We absolutely adore that they just have supported us in so many ways. And we have the band Run for Cover. Are you familiar with them? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Yes, they're great.
They are so good.
Yes. And last year I actually found out that one of the lead singers, his grandfather, I believe, actually jumped.
His grandfather jumped
at like 80 or 70. So
good for him.
If he's jumping, what is our excuse? Like, we have no excuse.
You are never too old, never too young. Well, legally, 18 plus.
Yes.
But that is fantastic.
Yes. And, if you head over to the Greystone YouTube, you can see his story. Paul Robitaille, he talks about why he's leaping. And you can see him getting all strapped into his harness. And he makes the leap. Oh my
God.
So
that is so cool.
Yes.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We've also had Assembly Member Anil, who has also taken the leap with us. Yes.
Okay, so if one assembly member can do it, the rest of our leaders, mayors, governors, all that, go ahead, do it.
Yes.
We're looking at you. Do it. But no, that's fantastic. I'm really excited about this whole thing. But as we're wrapping up here, as you said, you're looking at 3 years now with being with Greystone,
Mhm.
and obviously you're going to do the jump. You're excited, you're nervous, but out of the 3 years and everything that you've experienced, what would you say is, I don't know, the biggest nugget, the biggest thing that you've gotten out of working through this program?
The biggest thing that I've gotten out of working for the program is advocacy matters. I think when people hear the word, they just think, oh, the blue suits, Capitol Hill, and it starts there and it ends there. But it's a thing that happens every single day. Every single day, we have to live and breathe what it is that we love and enjoy. And we have to support those who we support. And that's just been the greatest joy for me, is that I get to be a part of this bigger thing that's allowing them to live the life that they deserve, because that's what I want. And I think it's a mission for specifically what we do at Greystone, but really it should be the mantra for our lives. Every single person should live the life that they deserve, and they should be supported and feel supported, and should just be able to know that someone's got their back. And at the end of the day, someone is going to ensure that, you kind of get what you need and you're able to live. Yeah.
Amen, and God bless to all that. Anquinette, this has been fantastic.
Yes.
Of course, Leap for Autism happening May 3rd. It's going to be at Skydive the Ranch in Gardiner. It's going to be an incredible time. She's going to jump. You should too. Make sure that you register your team, raise some money, and who knows, you could be jumping out of the plane yourself. It's for a great cause for the Expressive Arts Programs, and you're going to be able to meet everybody. So bring everybody out. Bring out the whole family. Enjoy the music. Enjoy all that food. Oh, my God.
Yes.
And enjoy, the good time, Just soar. Just soar with it. Have
Yes.
some fun. Anquinette, again, thank you so much for being on this episode of Walsh
Thank
Wednesday.
you for having me. This was so great.
Of course. I'm Connor.
I'm Anquinette.
And as always, we're glad we get to
Spend some time.
Hey there, I'm the ad ref, and I'm calling a timeout on today's episode to tell you about our sponsors. First of all, let's throw it to Philomena in the booth. Philomena?
Thanks, Connor. I'm Philomena Finelli, CEO of Impact PR and Communications and a media maven, which is a fancy way of saying that my team and I help companies get in the news, transform leaders into thought leaders, and cut through the clutter with messaging that matters. And we do it all with a smile. Our agency was named the Woman-Owned Small Business of the Year for 2024 by the Metro New York District Office of the U.S. Small Business Administration, and we received the Gold Stevie Award for Women-Run Workplace of the Year, which is an international recognition. But it's not about the awards, it's about the personal interactions. We at Impact PR and Communications pride ourselves on crafting meaningful, results-driven public relations campaigns that are tailored to meet and exceed our clients' goals. If you want to learn more and talk to my team and I, visit prwithimpact.com and let us know that you found out about us from Walsh Wednesday. Now back to you, Ad Ref.
Thanks, Philomena. Now it's time to throw it over to a very handsome and, might I say, stylish young man. The Walsh Wednesday merch store is officially opened. Now you can have my face on your body. That didn't come out right. When you visit the Walsh Wednesday merch store, you can select from hats, t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. By purchasing some Walsh Wednesday merchandise, you're not only supporting this program, but you're also supporting the local arts and organizations that are featured. Just visit cmjwentertainment.com/shop-merch and use promo code REVIVAL for 20% off. All links are in the description. I decided to work with Teespring for my merch store because, well, I was already buying from them. They have comfortable and durable products, and their printing is clear and reliable. One of my favorite hoodies is from my friend's Teespring collection, Offbeat Threads. To learn how to start your own online collection, visit teespring.com. And of course, I hope you get to spend some time at the Walsh Wednesday merch store. Thanks, guys. All right, that's enough of me. Time to get this show back on the road. Before we speak with Marty Wendell, here's a sneak peek of one of the songs on his upcoming album. This track is called On the Fringe.
I've never found it easy to color inside the lines or do things someone else's way, 'cause I'd rather do it mine. I'm always left to center, but I never come unhinged. I'm just used to living somewhere out there on the fringe. Somewhere out there on the fringe, moving to the beat of my own drum. Somewhere out there on the fringe, it's anybody's guess what I'll become. Have no use for small talk or things that make no sense. There don't seem to be no rules that somehow I can't bend. I reached into the fire close enough that I got singed. I'm way too used to living somewhere out there on the fringe. It hard to hold the line and walk the straight and narrow. Where there's signs that point the way, I just ignore the arrows. When others shout demands at me, it only makes me cringe. It's the life that I keep living somewhere out there on the fringe. Somewhere out there on the fringe, moving to the beat of my own drum. Somewhere out there on the fringe, it's anybody's guess what I'll become. I'm way too used to living somewhere out there on the fringe.
Before we get into the official interview, let's have Marty go through the history of all the incredible photos of musical legends he's collaborated with over the years.
And you said that's in Sun Studio?
Yep.
Very cool. When would you say that was about?
That was 2002.
2002? Awesome.
Right. So we've got 1964, Johnny Cash. Below him, Tom Wilde, my first producer, in 1966.
Incredible. And of course, that's the complete unknown look we were talking about before. Amazing. And then we got Johnny again over here.
1968, that's when I was an opening act. And then below his wife, June Carter. And then the Statler brothers, and the godfather of rock and roll, Carl Perkins.
Absolutely.
He influenced people from George Harrison to Tom Petty. Very influential guitar player. Sean
Wendell.
Yeah. Connie Smith, who's now Mrs. Marty Stewart, and below Henson Cargill. And then we go over to George Jones and Tammy Wynette. That was think that was 68 or 69.
And we'll get behind the
And
light.
Dick Curlis behind was known for his trucking songs and toured a lot with Buck Owens.
Amazing. There we go. And go around the light.
And then we've got Sonny James and Chris Christopherson and Rita Coolidge.
That's so cool. No pun intended.
And then we go over to Jeannie C. Riley, whose biggest hit was Harper Valley PTA, and Charlie McLean, who was an 80s country artist.
Phenomenal.
Then Larry Gatlin, he and his brothers had a lot of hit music, and another Chris Christopherson and Rita Coolidge. And then over on the far is Merle Haggard, and below a young 16-year-old Tanya Tucker.
Crazy. All right.
Then we go to Hank Thompson, Willie Nelson.
Recognize that face?
Willie had the right idea. He always looked old, so he still looks the same.
He really hasn't changed much, has he? And that's your daughter with you there too, right?
That's my daughter Megan.
Beautiful.
And then Waylon Jennings.
There he is. Fantastic.
Most people remember the story that he gave up his seat on the plane, which was the one that crashed with Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
Farron Young, Don Williams, and Bandana.
Terrific.
Then we have John Anderson. That's in 1990. And as I said, he just became a member of the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Phenomenal.
Lou DeWitt in 87 when he headlined our festival in Round Lake. And T.G. Shepard, who has still a show on Sirius FM.
Terrific. And then we got
Arlo
the two.
Guthrie, two of them.
Yeah, there's that one and that one. That one's signed.
The one on the right was actually 1993, and that was the first show that Sean ever was on stage with me
Really?
at the Berkshire Performing Arts Center.
A young Sean. Well,
Young
here's
Sean,
there's
he-
Sean for reference down there.
and he never left since. He's been on the stage with me ever since
Terrific.
that show. And William Lee Golden from the Oak Ridge Boys, and Lacey J. Dalton.
Amazing. And then underneath the other Arlo over here.
is Planet Swan, Billy Swan's daughter, who recorded with me at Sun Studio. And then Deborah Allen, who is 80s artist, and she also wrote liner notes for my A Real Good Run album.
Fantastic.
And then Michael Twitty, Conway Twitty's son, we opened for him a couple of years ago.
With Sean.
With Sean.
And another of Sean right next to
Yeah,
him.
with Marty
now
Stewart
there's
and the
Sean.
Superlatives, including Chris Scruggs, who produced the Risky Business album.
Amazing. Incredible legacy and career in his own right.
Yeah, and then Roseanne Cash
Yep. There we go.
and James Lott is above her, who produced my session at Sun, and my younger son John at Abbey Road.
That's so cool to be there where the Beatles did
Yeah.
everything. And then there's Sean
Over to
again.
Sean with Les Paul. Sean taught him a few licks while he was. And then Johnny Cash, my youngest son John. That was a 1986, somewhere in there.
Amazing.
T. Graham Brown, we opened for him. And then Jerry Fox and Linda McKenzie. Sean and I sat in with them in Cape May, and they're both guests on the Risky Business album.
Phenomenal.
And then over to the end, we've got the Hager brothers. Most people know them from Hee Haw.
There you
And
go.
then Sean and I with Johnny Cash. That was 1997. That was actually his last tour before he got too ill to perform.
Oh, geez. 97. I was born that year.
So we made it in time.
Yeah.
And then we opened for both the Platters and Shirley Alston Reeves, who was the lead singer of the Shirelles.
Amazing. What an amazing array of photos that you got here. And I appreciate you going through all of them a couple times for me. Amazing.
Hey there, and welcome back to Walsh Wednesday. As always, I'm Connor Walsh, and I am so excited to be in this music studio here. We're outside of the Blue Dungeon, and we are here at this phenomenal studio, and of course, with this incredible musician right here. This year is a really incredible year for him. He's got nominations for both Eddie's Awards and for Listen Up Awards. Last year marked 60 years in the industry for him as an artist. Truly incredible. He's been inducted into Hall of Fames, including the Rockabilly Hall of Fame and the Edison Hall of Fame. Not to mention, he's worked alongside and with artists such as Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Arlo Guthrie, Waylon Jennings, John Anderson, plenty more. We have a legend in his own right in the rockabilly community. With us today, we have the one and only singer-songwriter, Marty Wendell. Marty, how are you?
Hey, thank you, Connor. I hope all of that wasn't too hard to say.
I got through it. To be honest, there's more I could have said, and there's more that we'll definitely get into, of course.
60 years worth, but you don't have to feel you got to cover it all.
No, understandable. And again, thank you for having me here in your studio, of course. This is wonderful. Let's talk about that for a second, about the 60 years. Last year was 60 years for you, anniversary. That's incredible. Did you ever expect that you would still be riding this high, still touring, still putting out music, still getting these accolades 60 years later?
Absolutely not. I figured when we started, we got through even 10 years, we'd be lucky. But what can I say? So many good things along the way. Not that we didn't pay our dues, we did. But especially at this point, I would have expected maybe doing a guest shot once or twice a year and, maybe doing one or two songs and thank you. But it's been really wonderful that we've been able to continue this long and that people still enjoy hearing the music.
Absolutely. And it is certainly more than just a one shot here or there. I have in front of me a number of dates that you have coming up for your summer tour. That's something that you try to do annually, have a summer tour, take the band out, you have a great time, looking like booking up already for 2025. And that's coming off the heels of the nominations. As we said, you have the Eddies and you have the Listen Up Awards. Congratulations on both.
Well,
do you want to talk
that.
about those nominations and what went into them in the first place?
Well, the Eddies, you just get informed that they've added you to the nomination list. And the Listen Up, people actually have the opportunity to nominate you and vote for you. So that's a little different setup. And then recently I found out I'm also listed for a nomination in the Times Union Best Of, which I've never made that before. So
congratulations.
2025 is starting well, I guess.
Yeah. Again, can you believe that you're still achieving all these firsts this far into the career?
It's pretty amazing. It really is.
Yeah, I'm sure it's reinvigorating. I'm sure it's powerful to be able to get that recognition. So I'm familiar with the Times Union. Typically some voting goes into that. And you said voting goes into the Listen Up Awards as well. Is there anything that the Walsh Wednesday listening audience can do to help out with the voting?
I guess there's still time to vote. I think Listen Up is still open. We actually won that, I think it was 3 years ago, for the Americana artist, and that's the category I'm nominated in this year.
Phenomenal.
And the Eddies, we've had several nominations for country artist, and also I was accepted into the Eddies Hall of Fame.
Yes, amazing.
And then a couple of years ago, the Glens Falls Music Hall of Fame. So that's 3 halls of fame.
How's that all feel that you're walking in among all these halls?
It's pretty amazing. You can still, if you go to Universal Preservation Hall, there's a plaque on the wall, and they actually continuously play videos of the different people that are on the wall, so you can see that as well if you'd like to see that. But they've been very good to me. I can't say enough about the people at the Proctors Collaborative. They've just embraced me well.
Terrific people. They've been doing so much good for the arts around here, and it's awesome for you to be recognized in this way, especially because you have the incredible legacy in and around the area. So we've mentioned before, you have the new tour coming up and you have new music coming out. We even have one of your albums in front of me right here, is Risky Business album. So what can people expect out of the new album that you're working on that's coming out later this year?
The new album is called Telecaster Cowboy.
Nice. I like the name already.
And you may wonder what that's all about. Back in the 70s, what became branded as outlaw music, actually today, I think has morphed into what is called Americana music. In other words, the focus on singers, especially singers writing their own material, and songs that really are serious songs that tell stories, not really written with the hope of, I hope this will be a big hit, but just people writing what they thought was good music. And in an article back then, the writer said something to the effect that I hope the music scene is taken over by Telecaster Cowboys. And that came back in a memory. And so that's where the idea of
Telecaster Cowboy came from.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. That is so, so cool. And looking forward to when everything comes together. We were talking about before we got onto the mic how certain albums of yours have been kind of piecemeal together. People are recording from different areas. Sometimes you're recording one track at a time, but then you've had other albums where you've just simply live tracked it. What can people expect out of this album? What kind of techniques are you going about it with your band?
Well, this we basically have created it with tracks, trying to create interesting instrumentation. So one of the things that we've always tried to do, and my son Sean has produced a lot of the albums, we always try to make it so that all the songs don't sound alike.
Yeah.
I know you probably had that experience. You liked a song, I'll buy the album. And then it's like every successive track is like a rewrite of the song you liked. So we really try to avoid that so that each song sort of can stand on its own feet and not necessarily be a carbon copy of something else on the album. So there'll be a lot of different stuff as you go through the new album.
Is there one song or a couple songs in particular you want to plug? Maybe they might be singles coming out or something that you're really proud of so far.
Well, one of the ones we've actually started in the 60th year concerts featuring is a song I wrote called When I'm Just a Memory.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of gives people, I guess, a little glimpse of what's going through my mind these days. That's kind of a special song to me. All the ones on there really are ones I really worked hard at the writing stage to really try to craft something that people would like, and people would like to hear it, and yet it would have something to share with them.
Yeah, that's really profound. And just the name of it itself just kind of sends a shiver down my spine.
Yeah.
Like that's something that I feel like a lot of people can relate with, regardless of their age. What's the legacy I leave behind?
Yep.
What exactly is it that I'm doing here, and what am I offering? And I think that's super powerful. I'm really excited to hear that track now. So you mentioned already your son, Sean, of course, being producer on a number of things. Sean's our connection. He was my professor at the College of St. Rose. He was the advisor for our sound crew. And, now after college, I consider him a very dear friend. So with that, having this father-son dynamic of being able to work on this music together, go on the road, recording, what is that like to be able to have that dynamic with him?
Well, we've always said if we finish an album and we haven't killed each other, it's been a good session, But no, he's really the person, I suppose, above any that I give credit for the reason I'm still going. It probably would have been easy to just say enough. And yet I know he's ready to always get back out there and play. And now we've got a couple grandsons that do roadie and lights. And I mean, it's
full family affair, huh?
Yeah. And of course, John's wife is our harmony backing singer.
Yep.
So we have just a good group.
Yeah. No, you got a whole family affair, whole family business going on with the music. And I think that's really terrific to be able to hone in, collaborate, and just enjoy and celebrate together. I think that's terrific. So, of course, with the Northeast tour that you got coming out, starting in May, going through October, it's a great list of places, and I know that you'll probably be adding more. Are these places that you've played before, or are these new? What are you expecting to get out of this tour?
Some of them are venues that we have played before. One of the new ones is we're going to be featured at the Danby Country Bluegrass Festival in Danby, Vermont.
Nice.
That's going to be in July. That'll be, I think it's a 3-day festival, something like that, and we're going to be on a Saturday night. So
Saturday night, that's some prime time right there.
So we're looking forward to that.
Oh, amazing. And I just want to say something about Vermont real quick. Before we got into the studio, you were showing me your view at your house. You can see the mountains there from Vermont, and we're here in New York. So incredible, incredible view. What is it like to be able to kind of sit back and have your house, your property, your home base here in a very natural atmosphere to be able to come back to?
It's great. It's peaceful, restful, and it's a good place to create music because you're not in the middle of a traffic jam and sirens and all that going off every 10 minutes. So no, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Me being in the border of the town/city of Poughkeepsie, there's enough trains and sirens and things that I hear all the time.
Metro North.
Metro North, yeah, you hear that. And we're also right by Marist College too. So sometimes you'll hear all the college parties. And
Yeah.
it's constantly. I remember in high school it was the worst. I think that was like the worst time trying to do like homework and hearing them go off. That was nuts. But yeah, I'm sure it must be beautiful and relaxing to have here.
It's always fun to go back to Vermont because in the late 60s, Vermont really was one of the pivotal places in my career when I had my first single.
Was that Hey Hey Mama?
Hey Mama? Almost every station in Vermont was playing that, and then it filtered into New England, northern New York, mid-Atlantic states, and that's how I got on the Johnny Cash show, because the song was getting some attention.
No, that's incredible. So let's go back to that. Let's see what pictures of Johnny Cash.
Right over there is 68.
There we go.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Now, an interesting, the one beside,
Yep.
that was 64.
Okay.
And if you saw the movie, A Complete Unknown,
Yes.
notice that is how they had the actor playing Johnny Cash dressed. So they did their homework for that period of his career.
It's funny. I literally just saw A Complete Unknown. What did you think of the portrayal of Johnny Cash? Did it feel like that was accurate to when you knew him? A little played up?
Somewhat, but a little Hollywood.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Always happens. But the movie and the total, I thought was well done.
Yeah.
I really did.
The performances and the portrayals I thought were like exceptional.
Ed Norton just had Pete Seeger down. I met Pete a couple times, and I mean, he could have fooled me, you know. He was excellent.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think like obviously everybody's talking about Timothée Chalamet with that, but yeah, Ed Norton playing Pete Seeger was phenomenal. Like Pete, of course, you know, growing up in the Hudson Valley, huge influence to a lot of musicians growing up and around. And you know, I worked for a number of folk guilds, so kind of got to really experience a lot of that music. And of course, he started up the Sloop Clearwater, which I was blessed to actually perform on once.
Yep. The first time I met him was when that picture was taken in the break between, he did 2 shows. Pete came in the dressing room, and Johnny looked up. Pete, he says, "You don't go anywhere without your banjo. Go get it." He said, "You're opening the second show." which Pete, those are okay. And he did.
That's kind of what happened, like in that scene in A Complete Unknown, where they kind of forced the banjo on him to play at that party.
Yep. I mean, I saw that happen. And then I think it was a couple years later, some friends of mine in Garrison, New York, let him use their field for one of the early Sloop concerts. So I got to meet Pete at that as well. So that movie was just so enjoyable for me because the Greenwich Village scenes, I played a few places there, and you know, it brought back a lot to me.
I'm sure.
It really did.
I'm sure. Let's talk about Johnny Cash there for a second. As you said, Hey Hey Mama was what got you onto the Johnny Cash show. You were able to work with him. What was it like? And if I'm not mistaken, he was a big inspiration to you becoming an artist in the first place. Am I right?
Well, that's actually how I started. My mother was really one of his early fans. In fact, I've still got some handwritten notes from him that he sent to her with his dates.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's a treasure.
Wow.
But she brought home the first album, which was the first album that Sun put out.
Yep.
And I got just taken with it. It didn't sound like anything else on the radio. And I finally got an old guitar somewhat in tune, and I got an Alfred's chord book, and that's where it all began. And then in 63 was the first time I met him, and that's when he handed me a 12-string guitar and asked me to play for him. And then 64 was back with him, and then he had the whole troupe there with June Carter and the Statler Brothers. And that's where I first met Lou DeWitt, who was one of the Statler Brothers that wrote Flowers on the Wall. And we became friends. And in 87, I think it was, he came up when I was doing the festivals over in Round Lake, and he was our headliner for that. So
that must have been awesome to reconnect during that point, too.
In fact, that picture's over there. So yeah, right up there. That's me and Lou.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, phenomenal.
Yeah.
No, really incredible. Now I'm actually taking a really deep look at a lot of these photos. Amazing. So kind of looping back to the song then when you said, what was the name of it again? When I'm Nothing But a Memory? Or what was it
When
called?
I'm Just a Memory.
When I'm Just a Memory. You know, all these incredible memories behind us here in the studio, having this legacy with the awards, with the Hall of Fame inductions. What kind of memory is it that you're looking to leave?
Well, what the song is really about is kind of looking at sort of maybe problems in the world and just wondering, in essence, you know, what will the world be like when I'm not here, but my family, my grandchildren, all of that are. And that's really the reflection, more what will things be, because I'm not going to be here. And that's a sobering thought, but I'm feeling that it should be a hopeful song as well, that maybe the good things that I'm talking about will win out.
Absolutely. Well, hey, one thing's for sure, you ain't going anywhere anytime soon. You got these tour dates, you got these albums that you got to put out. And of course, we're going to have all the links and information in the description of this episode, especially to go vote and to make sure that he gets some of those awards that he's up for this year, of course. Marty, again, thank you so much for having me here in your space, in your studio, getting to appreciate all these memories, the legacy that you have. Before we completely wrap up, is there any last little nugget that you want to leave the Walsh Wednesday listening audience?
Well, I first of all thank them for listening in. And if you aren't acquainted with my music, we do have a website, martywendell.com. And the dates will end up on there as well. If you'd like to come out and join us at one of the shows, we'd love to meet you. We love meeting new people. We love seeing old friends. So whatever category you fall into, I guarantee you, I think most of our concerts have something for everybody.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And again, links in the description. You'll be able to find all of that. Make sure that you check out one of those tour dates. I'm really curious about the Danby Festival now there in Vermont. I might have to take a trip out to Vermont. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be cool. But also it's funny, the ones that are closer to me is I want to go out to Vermont.
Right.
But that just sounds like fun. Travel around. I'll be your groupie. I got you. Right. But Marty, again, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and keep up the good work.
Appreciate it.
Before we completely sign off, we have one last song for you. Right now, here's Marty Wendell with When I'm Just a Memory.
There are days when I think about what lies ahead. Where will this world be headed to after I am dead? Will those I love be able to survive? Will it be too hard for those who are still alive? I can't help but question what will be when I'm just a memory. Will the darkness finally give way to the light? Will the people learn to share instead of fight? Will anyone be there for those in need and overcome the selfishness and greed? I still have to question what will be when I'm just a memory. When I'm gone beyond both time and space, will I have left this world a better place than when I came? Will love somehow eradicate the hate? Or will more senseless violence be our fate? Will some still have the courage to resist? The ones who stand and shake an angry fist. So I ask the question, what will be when I'm just a memory? when I'm just a memory.
I'm Connor.
And I'm Marty.
And as always, we're glad we get to
Spend some time with you.
And that's a wrap on this week's episode. Special thanks to our guests this week, Anquinette Hayles and Marty Wendell. Much love to our sponsors this week, Impact PR and Communications, the Council on Addiction Prevention and Education of Dutchess County, Walsh Valuation, and Dayrock. Thank you to our Walsh Wednesday All-Stars, all of those who have generously contributed to the Walsh Wednesday 2025 Fund Drive. You can see the list of names on screen or in the description of this episode. And of course, thank you to our Walsh Wednesday Warriors, Jim Robinson, John Newhall, Meg Boyce, and Jenna Hess. These individuals have pledged $100 or more to Walsh Wednesday for 2025, either through the GoFundMe or our Patreon. You can support this channel by becoming a Patreon member with memberships as low as $5 a month. With that, you can get behind-the-scenes content, your name featured in the credits of each episode, and access to the Spend Some Time chat. You can find that and more by scanning the QR code on your screen or by going to the links in the description. As always, I'm Connor Walsh, and I'm glad we get to spend some time.